freshman year of college, I didn't have an iPhone, and my best friend Ryan had Temple Run on his, and like every day I would just like go to his room and like, can I play Temple Run? And he was like, you need to stop. Welcome to Spinsters, a podcast where we're just asking questions. I'm Rohan Nadkarni, and I'm a writer for Sports Illustrated.
Welcome, Rohan. I'm Jordan. That's Haley. Few housekeeping things before we get into it. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Rate us 5 stars if you're feeling it. We would really appreciate it. And also, it is our first birthday. It's been 1 whole year of Spinsters. Woo! On Twitter, people have been saying the nicest things, like the best moments throughout the year. I read every single one of them and liked every single one of them. It was a walk down memory lane. I love them all. And after we talk with Rohan, make sure to stay tuned for at the end of our interview with Rohan, we talk to Gabe Danon, the inventor of Poeltl.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/spin.
No matter how the last game went, anytime you take the field, you've got a shot at greatness. Give your team the best shot at winning by recruiting more MVPs with Indeed. Go to Indeed.com/Spinsters to claim your $75 credit before March 31st.
So last time Rohan came on, we talked about conspiracies. I think him and me and Harry, I know for sure Jordan is too pure and smart for this, but we're all very into conspiracies.
But I think, Haley, you made a good point last time that I want to reiterate, is we're not into quote-unquote conspiracies in the traditional sense. We're into the things that are like clearly could be true. Like we're not out here like, you know, like anti-vax people might like consider that a conspiracy, but like that's ridiculous. We're talking about the things that like there's actually a little bit of truth behind them. And I think that's an important distinction to make. Yes.
Totally.
Yeah,
I was saying before you came on the Zoom that conspiracy has like such a connotation of like you're in a basement, you know, like no one who's ever been on above ground has ever had a conspiracy.
And guess what? Not only am I a mile high above the ground in Denver right now, I'm on the 21st floor of my hotel. Yeah. So I'm looking over. Yeah. I can see it all from up here.
There's no conspiracies happening there. He's way too above ground. Okay, so we have a couple for you. Harry threw some in the doc. I think 4, me and Jordan, but we both came with our own. And also, these are so distinctly Harry that I don't think that they should come from anybody else. We can start with mine. I have a Celtics one, and it's kind of, I guess, my bone to pick because I think the Celtics love... And Rohan, I know you have something to say about this, has started here and then just soared to a place where now people are maybe embarrassed to kind of level off their expectations. But I don't think they're as good as everyone thinks they are.
Ooh.
I don't. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, my friend sent me this thing where 538 has them as now they're second. Had them as the greatest possibility for winning the championship.
Yeah,
that seems a little ridiculous.
That's over the top.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they've greatly improved. I'm not saying they've not found stability. So here's my conspiracy. The Celtics defense is a plant designed to save the NBA some playoff viewership since the Lakers aren't going to make it to the playoffs. Sorry, Jordan. This is what I think. Have they significantly turned it around? I think no one can say better than you, Rohan, since you are in such close proximity weekly to a Celtics fan. Do I believe in their front court to withstand a playoff series, especially considering the various front courts they could see in the East? No. It's so dependent on everything. It's not like they're the Sixers and they have tools where they could operate against multiple offenses. No. I do not believe in them that much. So either sell us them, or agree with me and be validated later in May. Your choice.
Well, first of all, to give you a peek into like how my diseased brain works, is I like grew up a Heat fan, like still am like mostly like hoping the Heat make it far into the playoffs. And I'm just I have worked myself into such like a state of anxiety about the Celtics, because it's like the one team that like would be really, really frustrating to lose to on so many levels in the playoffs, that I've come around to the idea that they are the championship favorite. That way, if they do somehow make it, I then have prepared myself for that possibility. You know what I mean? Like I can just be like, aha, I knew it all along. But if they lose, then I can laugh at them and say, ha ha, you guys had the best championship odds and lost. So if anything, I'm trying to push the Celtics are the championship favorite agenda. So maybe I'm a part of this conspiracy, you know? Maybe like I'm one of the people who started it. I made the original Facebook post. I wrote the 538 algorithm. You know, who knows? But I'm trying to push the Celtics are contenders agenda. In the event that they do lose, I can be like, wow, how embarrassing for you.
Self-preservation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey,
Jordan,
I'm
what do you think about them before I go into just some very easy examples of huge playoff like obstacles they can run into? I feel like they're right there. I'm like,
no, I'm with you.
Like
Haley.
everyone is playing a joke on me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's they like ran out of storylines and they're like, wait, we have to talk about the Celtics in some way. Let's really hype them up. Let's put them on TV every single night and hope that they keep winning. But I'm with you in the sense that every time I watch, I am in love with their defense and especially Marcus Smart, and I love the energy. But on the opposite end, I just see it all on Jason Tatum, and I just don't see that being the reason that they win the finals. Like, it's too much on him and it's too contingent on him. And then on top of that, Jaylen Brown, he gets injured. I feel like it's already gonna go downhill like immediately. I think it's too much weight on two players where the defense just isn't enough.
I feel like it sounds like we're not giving enough credit to Derek White. That's not my intention. I'm just saying it's gone too far.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For a couple of the reasons you just talked about. But okay, so let's take the Heat. Well, let's back up. Bam and PJs maybe aren't the best example, but okay, let's take the Sixers. I think part of everyone's argument is that they had that huge blowout against them. That was like honestly really embarrassing. And Al Horford had Joel Embiid's number. This is just like, that to me is cherry picking. This was pre-Harden. They've looked incredible. They've looked absolutely unstoppable. There is not a front court that exists that I think could handle them at their best. Mm-hmm. There's just not. And the other thing about the Celtics is it doesn't have to be one of the MVP favorites and someone who's won MVP to stop them. Like, even a team that's middling, probably trending downward for most people, the Cavs, like, it's amazing that Robert Williams has the ability to switch on to smaller people because he is smaller himself. Al Horford has similar talents, but who are you switching on to that you're going to have a size advantage against in the wing when you're facing three centers?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just what I'm saying. So I don't know. How far do you think they're going to go, Rohan?
Here's the problem with the East, right? There are 5 teams that all seem like they should make it to the second round: Milwaukee, Miami, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and Boston. Oh gosh, this is such a lame answer. All right, I'll just go ahead and say it. I think they'll lose in the first round.
No, actually, that was an unfair question because I did just say it's also dependent on who they play.
Right, the matchups are going to be so interesting.
Yeah,
yes.
the matchups
That's my issue with, I think, the Celtics being hoisted up in this way is because they are so dependent, like more than any other team you just named in that group, on matchup. To me.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not shitting on Derek. I'm not shitting on Marcus. I'm not shitting on Jason. I'm just saying I don't see it like people see it. Who do you think is the worst matchup that they could draw?
Probably Milwaukee, I would say.
Yeah.
I do think, like, you know, I think Horford in the past played better than anyone against Embiid for what it's worth. Not that that means he's shut him down or whatever, but they've always, I think, struggled with Giannis. Like, he's kind of been their kryptonite, and I still don't think they have an answer for him. And I still think the Bucks at their best last night, that Heat game was crazy. I mean, they took Miami's best shot and still found a way to win. So I still think the Bucks at their best are probably the worst matchup for just about any team in the East. So it's possible they end up seeing Boston. I mean, who knows how the seeding will shake out too. Like, that's not impossible that they see each other in the first round.
Totally. I also just don't think Horford's the Embiid killer all the time that he used to be. To me, he's not. But
It's getting up there.
Okay, Jordan, Harry, who would like to give Rohan their next conspiracy?
Ooh, I'll go. Again, like I said before this started, my brain does not work conspiracy first, but this is what I got.
We'll get you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you guys are rubbing off on me.
Yeah.
No, so one of my thoughts that I had, and it's going into James Harden too. I think that the plan was for him to get to the Sixers all along. It was to get to Daryl Morey reunited all along. The whole thought of why did the Nets blow up? Why didn't they go all the way? It was always meant to be a pit stop. It was never meant to be more than that. And so when we see that embrace of him and Daryl Morey when he gets off the plane, they're like, we did it. We fooled everybody. This is what was supposed to be the plan. So that's my thought. And I'm happy for him. He looks like he's born again. He's playing like the old James Harden, the James Harden that we know. And this is what it was supposed to be all along.
So he went to Brooklyn to sow discord, like the United States intervening in a country it has no business intervening in, and then gets back and just, you know, starts hugging people like nothing went wrong. This was the plan all along. I like it.
Ruins the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yes.
The place it left.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Left it in shambles.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is actually something that Zach Lowe has said. Facetiously, he says, but I just want to say that you have come up with the same theory as one of the best minds of basketball today.
Wow.
So
thank you,
Jordan Liggins.
Look at me go.
I feel like this bleeds directly into Harry, what your theory is about his hamstring, that it should not be a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Or maybe should be in the way that we're using the word conspiracy today. But do you want to see if Rohan agrees with us on that?
Sure. Yes. This is, I would say, my most tame conspiracy that I'll pitch to you all today. But it's that the hand and the hamstring maybe were never injured.
They weren't.
It was a little bit ridiculous how he like entered this season with the hamstring injury after the playoffs. Like, that's literally, I would like to see the scientific basis for that. Like, and then it just like all of a sudden popped back up. Yeah, that was a bit. I'm gonna like piggyback off of Harry's conspiracy real quick. I'm gonna throw Ben Simmons' back soreness in there too. Like, probably the most obvious conspiracy injury of all time.
Yeah. 100. How old is Ben Simmons now?
Oh gosh, 20,
early 20s,
maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think 26 is when you start waking up. It's the very beginning of when you start waking up and your back is just, no matter what, a little bit off in a weird way. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. Yes.
But yes, no, that was they were all shit. But James Harden's was like, the way he sold it was amazing, because he had ESPN people who do this for a living saying that in a couple of years he was going to be the next Russell Westbrook. Like,
that's true.
That's
so
an actor.
true.
That's an actor. Yeah. That's insane. So yes, they were. I think that we can all rule. If you could just do a Law and Order sound there, Harry.
I would even say, do you know, you can have good posture and look really athletic. Like if you want to walk around, you can kind of puff your chest out and all that stuff. Is it, or some of us can. I'm not the right guy. Is it possible that James Harden was doing the opposite? Like he was kind of slouching around.
He does seem to have an ability to make himself look bloated. Right? Like,
not just bloated, but like not. This was our whole thing about his fashion. He just doesn't carry well. He doesn't have the ability to carry material himself well. I mean, no offense. This is like kind of piling on him, but
he didn't even have a limp.
Last night, did you guys see his look last night? It was solid.
It was giving Destiny's Child soldier. Yes.
But did he wear it well? If I had seen a video of him walking, I might not have liked it. But I saw a standstill and I thought, that's a great outfit.
That's fair. I
feel bad, but I don't know. Something in the shoulders just is never right with his walk. Okay, I have a conspiracy. Remember how LeBron said whoever made the play-in game needed to be fired? I was listening to Zach Lowe this morning, and in addition to what you just said, Jordan, he reminded everyone that Bron said that. My conspiracy is this, going off of that. LeBron, inarguably top 5 vision in the NBA, right? And he's not 4 and he's not 3. Came up with the play-in game 2 years ago as a security measure in case he'd ever need it. And then he deflected away suspicion by tanking the Lakers down to possibly falling into the 8th seed that year and then making the statement that whoever made it should be fired.
They will never suspect the loudest critic. This is one of the best NBA conspiracy theories I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, and then this is not so much a conspiracy, but I was thinking if the Nets and the Lakers do end up making the play-in, like both of them are in a play-in game, they can absolutely never get rid of it. So there's also a conspiracy that perhaps the Nets were forced to become, like things were forced to get this dire so they could have a champion based off a fucking play-in game winner.
Oh gosh.
You know what I mean?
There's something to be said about how the NBA all of a sudden creates this play-in tournament, and the first year lucks into Lakers Warriors.
Yeah.
And this year it's going to be the Lakers and Nets on each side of it. There's something up with that.
Exactly.
I hope that's the reason why we're doing so poorly. That's what I would like to think.
Not this year, Jordan. Sorry.
Well, last year too.
Not this year. There's no conspiracy there. We can see very explicitly what is happening. Right now, are the Lakers even still in?
I think they're 10th, but like
position for it.
Like they're hanging on for dear life.
Right now they're 9, so it'd be the Clippers and the Lakers in the play-in. So that's good. They're 9th, and then it'd be Nets Hornets. That'd be so much fun.
That would be fun
on the East. Yeah, but if they both make the play-in game.
Just end the season today, and then we don't have to have the second hardest schedule for the rest of the year.
Are you guys the kind of fans, though, who, like, if you know it's going to go poorly in the playoffs, you still want the chance, or do you just kind of want it to be over? Because this weekend is the last Louisville basketball game, men's. I should clarify, men's. And we were talking to my aunt this morning. I was like, I don't even really want to watch it. I don't. It's been such a miserable, unenjoyable, difficult season that even if they were going to make the tournament, I think I would just be like,
yeah, it's like you're going to let me down
ourselves?
Again. Yeah. You've let me down all year. You're going to let me down on the biggest stage of the playoffs.
The losses, keep your pride. Like I just, we've got the women. But yeah, that's what kind of fans are you guys? Because I am not. If I'm a Lakers fan, I don't think I want to make the play-in game.
If I were a Lakers fan, what I would be doing, again, I'm a very unhealthy person, is I would be like, I don't want this team to make the playoffs. Like, this is dumb. Like, they're so stupid. They've been annoying all year. Like, they should just miss the playoffs. But then when they inevitably did make the playoffs, I would deep down start convincing myself of their path to winning the championship. I would just give myself hope. They'd be down 30 in like game 3. And I'm like, listen, they just got to hit a couple threes. And the next thing you know, like when the Heat were getting just demolished by the Bucks in the first round last year, they're like down 30 at home in game 3. And I'm like, listen, Duncan Robinson hits 3 threes. You get it to under 20 by the fourth quarter and you never know. So that's the real problem, is I would start convincing myself that there's a chance.
I feel like I'm at the point where just throw the whole season away. Like let's just start over. There's no good scenario out of this. Even if we do make the play-in tournament, we're going to come up short by doing the same things that we've done all season long. We're not going to play defense. We're going to hoist up some horrible threes, and then we're just going to be sitting there like, I could have gone without this pain.
Teams should be allowed to quit. You should just be like,
Yes.
like,
I agree with this.
Yeah, let's encourage quitting.
I saw, that reminds me of 2 things. The first one is I saw this article this morning that was like, employees have never been lazier. And instead of quitting a job, now people are just coasting at their jobs.
Okay.
That's what that reminded me of. And number 2, because it's like, what do you want them to do? Quit? You want them to quit?
And then you'll write the article about how we're quitting.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like millennials don't want jobs.
Yeah.
I gotta stop saying that. I think it's chuggy to complain about millennial people complaining about millennials. Isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You tell me. Damn it. That was embarrassing. I was playing a part. The second thing is, I think a real conspiracy that I forgot about and wasn't going to bring up is that, speaking of like starting over, Jordan, it's definitely a conspiracy that LeBron is like planting the seeds to return to Cleveland. All-Star, those weird, like he had that comment about he likes what Kobe's doing there, and when Cleveland like welcomed him, and there was a bunch of like sentences that involved home, like this is home.
I don't know. I think there's so many, what people are saying too is like, we trade LeBron, we just start over completely, like not even literally quitting on this whole team and just starting from ground zero. I don't buy that. I think it's just this season. I think LeBron's going to stay with the Lakers. I think he's going to play with Bronny in LA. All of that's going to happen. And it's just this season because we came in with such high hopes with Russ, and that completely blew up in like the first 3 games. And at that point, I was like, throw away this season. But now specifically, I think LeBron stays. It's just we need a fresh start to the season. That's my thought.
I listen, maybe his family, again, I get it. They're from Akron, and like I went to school in the Midwest, lovely people, really is a lovely place. I just have to imagine at some point his family's got to be like, enough with the back and forth, like enough with the, like Miami 4 years, Cleveland 4 years, like enough. We're in LA now. We got to stay somewhere. You're not like, it's not like LeBron's like hanging on for the last couple years, like, got to get a paycheck or I can get a paycheck. It's like, we are set financially. This Russell Westbrook trade was your idea. You figure it out, man. We're not moving. Okay. I would be, at some point the family's got to put their foot down. Imagine leaving Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I did.
Her foot down.
To go back to the Midwest. I did. Here. I'm saying it right now. In the next 2 years, he will leave LA.
Ooh.
Wow.
He will.
Crush my heart.
Also,
yeah, I mean, it looks like he's having a terrible fucking time. So
do you guys
why wouldn't you leave?
Do you guys think
Space Jam too?
Can I come up with a conspiracy off the top of my head?
Yes.
Please.
Deep down, I don't think Bronny Jr. wants to play with LeBron.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. That is one element I don't think anyone's considered in any of this.
Is he gonna call his dad in the locker room? Like, is he gonna call out dad for like a pass on the court?
Oh my
like,
God, I didn't
Dad,
think
I'm
about
open.
that.
Yeah. Like pops him open. Yeah.
To pile on to that, which I think a lot of people aren't talking about, I don't think he's good enough to make the NBA. Like, he's really good, but there are thousands, millions of top prospects better. And if he gets into the NBA, just like how Dwayne Wade's son is in the G League, there are players that are better than them.
Whoa. Let's not listen. Zaire Wade is averaging a robust 3 points a game for the Salt Lake City.
Healthy.
I don't know what they're called. Yeah. Defensive stopper. Let's not,
Jordan, let me tell you something about nepotism.
Yeah.
There is no stronger drug. People will do anything. At this point, if you think about all the players LeBron has carried on his back at some point or another because they have made him laugh once, randomly, the jobs he's provided, he has probably been one of the great additions to our American economy since he's been in the NBA.
No doubt.
And so for his own blood, his son, and this is clearly a dream he wants, you take on that rookie salary. You definitely do. Now, when he's gone, I do worry about Bronny. Well, I guess we'll have to see, but
there's going to be a lot of team options.
Get you anywhere.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a really bad example. One comes to mind. Also, yes, being a teenager, I was just talking to my aunt about this. Nothing is more embarrassing than being a fucking 7th grader. Do you guys remember that?
Awful. The clothes,
Mortifying.
the braces,
Awful.
everything.
Mortifying.
Awful.
I
God.
did this weird thing where I would just wear the same color. It wasn't even matching. It was just pink.
I was
Everything is pink.
Monochrome. You were the original monochromer.
I wish I could just apologize for everyone who had to see me. You know what I mean? You just had to be around me in that time.
Another nepotism thing that I thought of, for an example, but I just love her, is Maud Apatow.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I literally cannot physically say that name. Somebody say it so I can say it.
Maud Apatow?
Apatow. Okay.
Yeah.
Judd Apatow. Yeah.
Now it sounds so
I was literally
weird.
in the shower this morning and I was like, Apatow. I literally could not for the life of me. Apatow. Yeah, she fucking rocks. She's good. But how'd she get that job?
Yeah. Leslie Mann and Judd Apatow. But she was in what was that movie? Oh no, I forgot it. Knocked Up. She was in Knocked Up as
well. That's he directed it.
And she's in it.
Yeah.
No,
and Leslie Mann is in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
She rocks. She's great. And so anyway, there's an example of nepotism. I think the anti-nepotism example, or the example if you were going to counter it, is anything that has to do with Doc Rivers' children. He has literally gone against them at every possible turn. You could argue that Austin Rivers initially got recognition because of his dad's name. Doesn't matter. All the shit he's been through since. His daughter, I just can't imagine. That's some Game of Thrones, Yellowstone level shit happening in the NBA.
It really is. I don't think we talk about it enough.
His Paul George playing.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
That was the Red Wedding. That was literally, that was
terrible.
Can I throw out one more pro nepotism that I feel like this person gets a little bit of a pass, and I think it's because we all love the nepotismer so much that we're willing to give him a pass, but it's Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Sometimes he gets off the bench celebrating so hard, and I'm like, how has no other NBA player just swung on this dude yet? They've got to be so fed up, just so fed up every time Thanasis is running off the bench celebrating.
Literally, Chris Smith, Louisville. I usually say Louisville legend, Louisville contributor, being on the Knicks with JR just because literally just played in the NBA for a little while because JR, his older brother was. And to that day, I think that's why I ruined a speaking relationship. I had this very big argument about this at a bar, and I think that I ruined a relationship with someone who I did not know was his best friend.
Oh.
Ooh.
Do I stand by it? 100%. If we're not going to call out nepotism, who is? But I'd still love you, Maud Apatow. Apatow.
Apatow. It's definitely ow
Apatow.
at the end.
But I mean, maybe
Cow.
she's going with the little French thing. Who knows?
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, Harry, what is your LeBron conspiracy? Deep state LeBron conspiracy.
So I want to talk a little bit about media psyops, and how if you are that kind of deep state nefarious actors have used the media throughout time to kind of get what they want, right? And then I want to talk a little bit about a $150 million movie called Space Jam 2.
Mm-hmm.
Why did LeBron make a movie about not wanting to pressure his son into playing basketball to then pressure his son into playing in the NBA?
Whoa.
I
That
think
is
this is
interesting.
is a classic destabilization media warfare technique. I don't exactly know toward what end. It seems like he's only destabilizing,
His own family.
his own family.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth interrogating.
Well, he does have 2 sons, right?
I was going to say this might be a message to his other son who's not athletically as
Inclined. Maybe just
inclined,
not
yeah.
interested. Maybe just
Yeah.
not interested.
He's short.
It is. Yeah, it is.
He's short.
It is. It is. If that was the reason, which I'm not saying it was, it's a pretty aggressive fatherhood tactic
Yeah.
to, instead of simply telling his son, you don't have to get into sports, to make a movie and cast an actor to play that person and be like, hey, bring the son to the movie and be like, did you see that?
Yeah. As they're doing the scene,
Yeah.
his other son is just standing there and he just winks at him like,
Yeah.
this was all for you. The
Yeah.
millions of dollars and the time that we put into
Yeah.
this.
I do
We
think
had to
it's weird
switch
that he didn't
directors.
cast his son.
Yeah.
Like, we're just talking about Leslie, and
Yeah, so
Judd.
true.
It happens.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, well, he's already talked about how he regrets naming him Bronny because he doesn't want to put that pressure on him. But then, like you're saying, Harry, like, that is the role. That is literally his son, I just looked it up. Bryce is 14. This was in October, so he might be 15 now, depending on his birthday, and he is 5'8". So is that normal?
That sounds close to normal. I think that's
15.
normal.
Yeah.
I was
Seriously,
5'8"
that
at
is
15.
little.
I think he could have a growth spurt.
Harry
That's
grew
fine.
6 inches in a year once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
How
was
old were
5.
you?
I was 5'1" at 15, and then at 16 I was 5'8", and now I am 5'8" still.
Same.
Yeah.
My growth spurt in 6th grade.
Yeah. I've been the same height and weight since like 4th grade, and I just was like, I had like a basketball peak from like 4th to 7th grade because of it, and then it was just all downhill from there.
I think that I am like going to be a phenomenon. I still think I'm growing.
That's crazy.
I'm 28. No, I swear. I think I'm getting taller.
I'm definitely not. I think I'm getting shorter. I'm slouching
Yeah,
more.
I got the James Harden. I got like my hip, my back. I'm like,
Okay, who has another conspiracy?
I have a tame another one that I'll just drop. It's very okay. Dwayne Wade. Okay. Are we really going to believe he's going to be a co-owner of the Utah Jazz his whole life? Like, that's it? He's going to be flying back and forth between Los Angeles and Utah? He's going to go on hikes and shit? I'm not buying it, okay?
Yeah, that is money laundering. Like, he's laundering something. There's no
would-
way that that's real.
What he is laundering is Donovan Mitchell's reputation so that he can force Donovan Mitchell to the Miami Heat via trade in like 2 years.
Whoa.
Listen,
Wow.
That sounds really
He-
likely.
He did it with Jimmy Butler. All of a sudden, Jimmy Butler, what did he say earlier in his career? I'd never play for the Miami Heat. Spends 1 year with Dwayne Wade. Next thing you know, he's playing for the Miami Heat. I think he's doing the same thing with Donovan Mitchell. That's my conspiracy theory.
That's a good one.
That's a great one, especially like he's always loved Donovan because Donovan has so many Wade comparisons and you know, has said that he idolized him growing up. Wow, that's really good.
That is good. I feel like in that
Go
playoff
ahead.
series, he was like talking to him on the sideline mid-game. He's trying to like make him his protege so he can take credit when his career really takes off in Miami. I'm on board with
Completely.
that one.
The seeds have also been planted, like of Donovan is probably going to leave if things don't turn around. Here's an easy way to identify when something has come from an agent and not like how we imagine it, which is like a journalist meets a GM assistant in a garage and it's dark and he's like, Donovan's not happy. No, it's an agent calls somebody and is like, write this in your story and I'll tell you next time this guy gets signed somewhere like out of the G League. Like the stakes are so low. Reporters just want to have a good relationship. And so, you know, they're like, well, it's coming from them. So obviously they are unhappy. I'm not saying it's wrong. But the reports that came out all at once, all of a sudden about Donovan is probably not going to be there much longer if they don't do better. Yeah, that's rooted in his own unhappiness. I'm 100% sure of it without knowing anything about the actual situation. So I could see him leaving sooner than later. I think that's a great theory. Why not?
It's a great
The Heat.
I
Thank
like
you.
that.
There we go.
I like that. It's a good one.
Wow, I would love to see. I know that the actual money won't work with this, but I would love to see him play next to Kyle Lowry. That would be so fascinating.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun.
That would be fun.
Again, the money would not
Yeah, we're
work
all just
to keep the rest of the team
Yeah.
as is. I'm like trying to figure
Yeah.
out who would have to
Yeah.
go, but if you just took him out of the sky and dropped him into this current Miami Heat team, then they're like without a doubt winning a championship.
Yeah. Wow. That's like a
Probably.
basketball dream.
Yeah, truly.
Harry, how about you share with Rohan one of the two that are left, which are
Sure, yeah.
I'm sure you made an earnest.
Yes. So this one is one that people have been doing for a long time. Shakespeare comes to mind. More recently, Q of QAnon comes to mind. The guy who started Bitcoin is doing this, where there is some real ambiguity as to whether or not they exist or not. I think Kim.com, the guy who made Mega Upload, is of a similar thing. And it's kind of like, are they one person? Are they a bunch of people? Do they even exist? You know, all that stuff. Is it possible that Cade Cunningham is doing that? I have seen that Cade Cunningham has scored, 18 points sometimes. Like, I've seen the box scores. I've heard people talking allegedly about it, but I am not sure with my own eyes if I have ever seen Cade Cunningham play basketball. And so,
Despite the fact that we literally saw him play basketball at Summer League together.
In person.
well, it was far away. It's like they can do body doubles. Like that's we're dealing with some pretty powerful people here. What do we think? And a number of other rookies are getting a lot more direct media attention than Cade Cunningham.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Rohan?
Wow, that is a bold conspiracy theory to say the least. I might respect the audacity of the theory more so than the theory of itself. I'll say that.
No pressure to keep talking about this.
No, by all
Harry
means,
just
explain
comes-
why Cade Cunningham exists.
All I have to say about Cade Cunningham is like the name Cade throws me a bit. Like when I think of Cade, I think of like the mean quarterback in a high school sports drama, not the first overall pick of the NBA draft. So that's really all I have to say about Cade Cunningham.
Alliteration is always good.
Always, yeah.
For who here is religious? What did Cade do in the Bible? Because I know that he was definitely in there doing something.
With Abel, right?
Is there no Cade in the Bible?
I think that's Cain.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's Cain. What
There
did
we go.
Cain do?
It's not my people.
What was up with Cain?
I definitely.
Where's Paolo when you need him? One of them killed the other one,
Yeah.
I think. Okay, well. Cade Cunningham, I'll say he exists for now, but I do like a running thing we've talked about all year is that it is odd that he's had the hype before his season compared to his actual season is definitely, there's a disparity.
Yeah.
That is fair to say, Harry.
Very
Do you want to share your last one about the Warriors and then we can get out of here? Or not get out of here. We're going to go interview Gabe, the singular Gabe.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
artist formerly known as Gabe Danon.
Thank you for giving me a platform to speak
I
truth to
regret
power. Yeah. Okay. Well, I have one about Ben Simmons and I have one about Don Nelson, which the Don Nelson one is a little. It's in the same. It's kind of involving body doubles, and so I think it's. We'll save that one. Did you all see the Sixers kind of clandestine operation with that metaverse company?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was allegedly like a way to make some money, move in the crypto NFT space, all of that stuff, right? That is what they wanted us to think. I think that company that they were using was allegedly, it was kind of like Masterclass but for the metaverse. So you could go and like David Alba or some whatever would teach you how to kick a soccer ball, but in the metaverse. That they made it seem like that was for us. I don't think it was. I think they were developing that technology as a kind of contingency plan if they couldn't trade Ben Simmons, to where they were going to beam him up into this metaverse, teach him how to shoot free throws and three-pointers and kind of become the player they wanted to be, but in metaverse time, so it's like he's kind of asleep, passed out, like in a chair. It's 45 minutes, but he's doing like lifetimes of free throw shooting.
They're performing Inception. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they kind of put him back in his body, and he shoots 82 from the line.
I am now starting to. I'm not saying that the rest of you didn't put in time and effort with your conspiracy theories. I'm just starting to worry a little bit about how much time and effort Harry specifically put into his conspiracy theories. Like we may have given this man just the gentle push he needed to go fully overboard.
I think that this has been living there all along.
I think so
My
too.
conspiracy theory is that Harry took this job, applied for this job because he wanted to share
Yeah.
this opinion.
Yeah. This was Harry's idea that we talk about conspiracy theories
Yeah.
today, and it was really just for him to get these off
Yeah.
his chest. I'm
I
not
will
over
say,
the
if there was
beam.
if there was ever like a point or a purpose to all of this meta thing, then getting over the yips or the non-yips or the mental, whatever hesitation, because there's no consequences. And if you think about it, it's not even really you. Like it probably has to get that. It would have to get that removed to get that iteration of the Ben Simmons who was last playing to do it. So might have a point there.
Really makes you think. Harry, never change. No matter how the last game went, anytime you take the field, you've got a shot at greatness. Give your team the best shot at winning by recruiting more MVPs with Indeed. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Start hiring right now with the $75 sponsor job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/Spinsters. Offer valid through March 31st. And Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. Go to Indeed.com/Spinsters to claim your $75 credit before March 31st. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy. And Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Indeed.com/Spinsters. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Our next partner has a product I use every morning first thing when I wake up, or when my dog wakes me up. It's Athletic Greens, which is essentially a bunch of supplements and probiotics and words that sound made up. They're so healthy, like adaptogens, all mixed into one green scoop, which I can mix into water in the morning and carry around with me as I start the day. I started using Athletic Greens because I'm lazy. This is a wonderful endorsement so far, and I didn't want to take a bunch of vitamins in the morning. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/spin. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/spin to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Do you want to introduce yourself and all the things you do?
Sure. I'm Gabe. Gabe Danon, and I am a producer for a podcast called Dunktown.
Whoop, whoop.
We've had Jordan and Haley on both. And so I built a game a couple of weeks ago. I started it for some of the listeners in our Discord. There's a bunch of puzzle freaks in there, and we were always sharing our scores. And somebody shared one that was like Worldle, where it's like they show you the outline of a country and you guess what that is. And I was like, oh, you could do this with almost anything. And so I was like, okay, I'll try and build one for NBA players.
Did Poeltl automatically come to you, or did you have to think about what you'd call it?
The name, embarrassingly, when I first did it, it was just called Basket Bottle. And then I'll give credit to David in our Discord. He was like, Poeltl, that's the name. And so, it's a fun name. It's great.
It's a fun game. I have had so much fun guessing every single time. And I was just talking about this earlier. I feel like I have a kind of unfair advantage just of how much I've studied Basketball Reference and the photos, because automatically some of the silhouettes, I'm like, done. Eric Gordon's circular head, I will never forget.
That was one of the ones I could actually solve.
I'm shocked that this only has been developed for a couple of weeks. When I first played it, I was like, wow, this must have been in the works like since Wordle began.
Oh, thank you.
Can you kind of go across, I guess, obviously if you don't play Wordle at this point, like everyone I know plays Wordle, so I'm not going to explain that. But with Poeltl, it's a little bit different because you have different categories that you're putting them in, and then you still have the yellow and green options, but you also have arrows, and you also start with a silhouette, so you can look at the player's silhouette. And so when you were developing it, did you think, okay, definitely Eastern Conference, Western Conference, what else were you like has to be in there?
Honestly, I just took like the basic biographical information that was available through the NBA's database. So all that had was like height, teams. It didn't have like any more in-depth stats. And so I would basically have to do like more complex data pulling to get more complex information. So I was like, I'll just do it like this. It's kind of almost like more like Guess Who, the like board game. Mm-hmm. So it's
one of my favorites.
It's less about like, And it's easier that way because those are stats that are not changing as often. I mean, I'm sure some of the players are still getting taller, but
What did you list Katie's technical height as? Because there's much debate on this one.
Oh, I mean,
Ooh.
I don't know the answer off the top of my head. I could get it really quick, but it's just what.
We're going to formally request that you change it. There's going to be, if he's ever the answer, there's going to be outcry in the community if his height is not listed as 7 foot.
He's listed as 6'10" on the NBA's database, so that's what he is in.
We're saving you. I'm telling you right now.
But it has to be within 2, right? That's kind of the rule when you're guessing. So technically, you could still guess it. If it's 7'10" or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think the jersey number was a factor that I didn't know was gonna help me so much. I didn't even know that was a part of my brain, that I registered so many players' jersey numbers. So that I really appreciate that column because it's helped me out a couple times.
Yeah.
I will say, I think there are two different kinds of people, and you and I are the ones, because for some reason I have never in my life absorbed a jersey number. It looks like Harry's the same. Yeah, I just don't. It's not how I consume it. It's not how I don't know, like for some reason that's not something my brain picks up on. So that being a category, like I would stare at and I would think, and that's like probably the least one that I have like an indication for. And yesterday I tried to play without looking at the silhouette. You start with nothing, like it's Wordle, which was difficult. No, not yesterday, 2 days ago. Sorry. But yeah, how long do you have them scheduled out is something I've been wondering.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I have a randomized list of 200 to 300 players. So at this point, it'll last me until probably next season, when it'll be a new list of players with the new rookies coming in and people retiring and stuff like that. So I have to do like a little bit of a data sync every couple of days just to make sure things are up to date. Sometimes people change their numbers or teams or that kind of thing. But for the most part, the data that I have is like pretty static. So it makes it easier to, not have to like check everyone's like minutes per game every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be terrible. We would not want to put you through that, Gabe. But another thing we were thinking of too is like if it is only current players, because it could be interesting too to just have like any NBA player trying to guess. But again, with my jersey number mind, I was like, well, wonder if they were a jersey number on a certain team, and then how would you guess that? So the current player was, I think that does make it more stagnant. I love it.
Yeah. It just happened to fall into place perfectly. So I'm really grateful for that.
If you do expansion packs and you do all NBA, or like a big pool of former, or G League or a different sport, where do you think you would lean first, if you've even thought about it? Or is it just cool that this thing is so popular? Because it is, we should say, extremely popular, extremely fun, extremely well made. Like, I love this. I honestly was kind of getting bored with Wordle. Today, the word was like, or was it yesterday? One of these words was like, times it was nasty or something. What was the word today, Jordan?
That was
nasty.
How
did you do it today? Because I struggled.
But I keep guessing other things. Like the first thing I guessed was pasty, because I'm pale. So you're just like guessing, and it's like if there's not an actual, it's just like random, guessing, and hopefully it pans out. It's not so interesting to me. Whereas this is like you genuinely need to think every single time. You can't just randomly guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've gotten a lot of emails and stuff saying do it for this sport or that sport. I don't think it would be too hard to like port it for another sport. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I'm sure someone else would probably just do it before I got around to it anyway. But I would do one for the WNBA. I do love the WNBA. And I've thought about doing that. If I have time.
I did see in one article that you said that, and Haley, you would love this, that you would call it Sue Birtle.
Oh shit!
I think that's good. Yeah.
That's perfect.
That's really good.
That would
Yeah.
be so fun. And just off the silhouette by hair alone, I'm guessing
wow.
that in the first one. That would be so
Yeah.
fun. So
Oh
you'd
my
have,
goodness.
have at least one player in me if you decide to expand to
Oh,
the
100%.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How long how did this take you? I'm like not, technology is something I have consciously opted out of, knowing, trying to like explore. So I can't even fathom how long something like this took you.
So I had the idea a couple of weeks ago on Monday, so the 14th of February.
Oh
and
my gosh.
by the end of that day, I had built out like a very basic proof of concept, where it was just like almost, it didn't have the silhouette yet. It didn't have like a limit to how many times you could guess, but it worked, and it was all just like text on black and white. But it worked, and then the next 2 weeks were just spent, beta testing. All of our friends in our Discord were helping beta test. They all got so excited about it, and getting all the features working. And yeah, I had fun making it.
Wow.
I know. I genuinely can't believe it all came together that fast.
That's amazing.
Were there any debates about a certain thing that you added in or decided to not add in?
I mean, I get so much feedback about what I should have done
I'm sure
differently or
now.
should do differently. There wasn't really. I mean, I feel pretty strongly that it's just fine the way it is.
And it is. Yeah.
It is.
So, yeah, I don't know. People don't like the silhouette. They say it makes it too easy, but they don't do the really easy thing, which is just not click it.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's optional. You don't have to do it.
That's my favorite part. Oh.
And yeah, people are like, you should do what college they went to, and if it's in the right region of, I'm just like, I'm not doing any of that.
Selfishly, I would love that. I have my fiance will walk around, just quiz me on where players go to college. It's a very weird talent that I have. And I know it's so embarrassing, but that would be a column I would strive in, but I do not want that extra work for you. It is perfect.
Thank you.
Just how it is.
I mean, it's like, I feel like it's at least a little bit playable for someone like me who's really like not a basketball expert. Like, I enjoy watching it and as part of like producing our podcast, but I'm not someone who's been a long time fan who has a lot of in-depth knowledge of players. So hopefully it strikes the right balance between being like good for people who know a lot about basketball and people who maybe are just more casual fans.
I think it does, which is like the silhouette's an option, and you have a lot of different categories to try to guess it in. And I guess this might be interpreting this a little bit too deep, but I like when things are accessible, because I think that the internet gives this illusion or makes us all give this illusion that we're really into something or we can't be into it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not true. And especially with something like basketball and NBA, if you're not quote unquote really into it, that's probably the healthiest. Like, it's not good for my back that I watch it every night. You should, if someone just wants to watch the TNT games and the ABC games, then they should. And I still think that they would have a fighting chance at your game, but it would be a good challenge.
Yeah, I agree.
I love that.
Jordan, do you have any other questions? I was also thinking maybe we could play it.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, let's do it. Oh, well,
Sure.
I already did today's.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it.
I won't say I already did today's, so.
I, yes, have also. So, Harry,
Oh, I haven't done it.
Oh,
Okay,
this
let's
is
do Harry.
perfect. Yes. Do it, Harry.
Wait, also, Gabe, do you know which one's coming out on which day?
I don't. I have a randomized list of player IDs, and so I get to play it along with everyone and be surprised every day.
Who's the
I
most
love
famous
that.
person who's reached out to you? Or I guess the one that's been the wildest to you?
I mean, the first day, they didn't reach out to me personally, but the first day, what the answer was Vooch, and he tweeted about it on that day, and that was very exciting to see.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
I
Yeah.
saw that. He's like, today's was a really good one. Smiley face.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, spoiler alert. Damn.
Yeah.
I also
All right.
guessed it off his hair too. That was random. I don't.
He has a
know.
very recognizable jawline, so
It is,
I was able to
yeah.
get it based on that.
What a
Yes.
great thing to be known for. Put that on my tombstone, except it's not true.
Yeah.
Cheekbones.
Same.
Give me the cheekbones. But all right.
Mhm.
All right, Harry, let's go ahead.
Yay,
You guys-
Harry! I'm so
you,
happy.
you
for
guys can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he needs to drink some water. Get
No
ready for it.
silhouette or
Stinking
silhouette?
juice.
Do the silhouette so everyone can see the extent of the options.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of tough.
I think I know who it is.
Oh wow.
Based
Really?
just off that?
I
Do
think
it.
Okay.
Wow.
Ow!
Harry, you really didn't.
Wow.
It took me a couple times, but I knew
Harry.
you were gonna get it. You're a
This
Warriors
is literally
fan.
Harry's like favorite. He's like
Player.
freakishly
He is.
involved with this. Do you want to plug the Discord
Yes.
you were talking about earlier?
Well, I'd love to plug our podcast Dunktown. The Discord is for our Patreon listeners, but I think just people would just enjoy listening to it. It's fun, it's funny, it's very silly, and we don't take ourselves too seriously. So I think people would enjoy it.
It's
For
so
sure.
fun.
Thank you so much. This has been great. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to
Yeah, thanks for having
all
me.
the Poeltles in the future, and also potentially the Sue Birtle.
Yeah, it'll happen
I'm pumped. For
one
that
of these
one.
days. Yeah.
Yes.
Could peg it to the beginning of WNBA season. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's
And
such a
she's
good
coming.
idea. That's such a good idea. Okay. Great plan.
Thanks, Gabe.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. No, seriously,
course.
like what you've made is really cool. People
Yeah,
are
it is.
obsessed with it, so I hope you're seeing that.
I've been-
It's very clever, and I think the parameters you set are perfect.
Well, that's our show. That was so much fun. Thank you to Gabe. Thank you to Rohan for talking to us. And please leave us a voicemail if you have any other Wordle spin-off words or ideas. We'd love to hear them. Call us at 502-874-4453 or send us an email at spinsters@bluewirepods.com to be featured on the show. Spinsters is hosted by me, Jordan Liggins, and Haley O'Shaughnessy. This episode was produced by Isabel Joycelyn, Harry Krinsky, Alex Ward, Ashley Zhao, and me. Our production coordinator is Devin Shepard, and our executive producers are Peter Moses, John Yells, and Haley.
Hey, my name is Cade, and I'm calling from Greensboro, North Carolina, and I'm a fan of the Charlotte Hornets, and a highly specific thing I'm worried about going into the playoffs is Bismack Biyombo is not able to catch any passes. He drops everything. Someone said whatever the opposite of Stickum is, he has that on his hands. I'm also worried about James Borrego not being able to make adjustments going into the second half. Yeah, and those are two things. All right. Thank you. Bye.